Too often we hear about another shooting happening in the United States, taking the lives of many individuals. Whether it's at a school, a park, a bank, or even perhaps a mall, guns pose a threat to all Americans.
A man in full military fatigues with a long gun went sprinting down the sidewalk. We're on a civilian street near the Navy Yard. One injury confirmed, and again, we're as close as they'll let us get to that right now.
There has been too many fatal events involving guns in the past several years, and there continues to be a widespread shock and disgust to hear such happenings. Despite occurring so often nowadays, some may say it is not the gun itself, but the person behind the gun, that these weapons are not a threat and only a means of protection.
Okay, and the school is in a panic, and I'm in the library. I've got students down under the table, kids. Hands under the table. I saw a student outside. I was involved in him.
However, it is essentially public safety versus individual rights. In 2014, Congress should focus more on congressional laws on gun control to ensure everyone's safety.
The teachers' calm is matched by a storm of police activity. Word of possibly 2 shooters sparks searches of the surrounding area. Children are rushed out of the school, single file, hands on shoulders, eyes squeezed shut.
Admittedly, there have been steps made towards enforcing gun control in the past. There have been a handful of attempts to pass acts regarding more gun control. Perhaps the most successful effort is the Brady Handgun Violence Prevention Act. This act was passed after James Brady was shot during an attempted assassination of President Ronald Reagan on March 30th, 1981. Passed on November 30th, 1993, this act establishes federal background checks on those who purchase firearms in the U.S. But what exactly are these background checks looking for? That is something that needs to be reviewed considering how many people have easily gotten their hands on a gun to use in a public shooting. In addition, there have been several court cases regarding firearm use and ownership. The United States Supreme Court has defined and mentioned the Second Amendment numerous cases when ruling legal matters, yet there still continues to be conflict over what the amendment truly stands for. The Second Amendment reads, "A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." One of the most notorious landmark cases to address the Second Amendment was the 2008 case of District of Columbia versus Dick Anthony Heller. Being the first legal case to examine the Second Amendment and its definition, the Supreme Court ultimately decided that the Second Amendment assures one's rights to own a firearm and for it to be used for lawful purposes, including self-defense. But let's fast forward to 2013, where the majority of gun-related American news refers to mass public shootings and deaths and not in terms of self-defense. Congress is surely overlooking a major problem today that needs to be fixed now.
Despite all this progress made to ensure there are stricter laws regarding gun use, why does so much violence still exist today? There is clearly not enough being done. Compared to other countries, America ranks the highest in a list of the most gun violence committed. In fact, some U.S. states combined have a greater amount of gun assault and deaths than other countries individually. A study by 2 New York State cardiologists discovered that America has 10 gun-related deaths per 100,000 people. This is more than any of the other 27 developed countries the cardiologists studied. This visual here shows how many Americans were killed in 2013. According to a 2007 Small Arms survey, an average of 88 per 100 people own a firearm in the United States. Meanwhile, in Honduras, only 6.2 firearms per 100 people are owned. 60% of U.S. homicides are executed using a gun, whereas in Finland, the rate is only 19%.
All in all, these statistics reveal that in 2014, Congress must make it their priority to ensure gun control laws become obeyed and observed in the United States.
I do not believe that states or governments should be hindering law-abiding citizens from owning and possessing guns. The Second Amendment states constitutional right of gun ownership should not be infringed upon. I own a few pistols and a few rifles. I use them for self-defense. There are a lot of people here in Texas that do own guns, safe in their handling. Any person that is using guns illegally should not be owning guns.
What happened here at the Navy Yard this week is a tragic reminder that Congress is not doing enough to prevent gun violence. On behalf of Newtown Action Alliance, I would like to send our deepest condolences to the families who lost their loved ones on Monday.
It still doesn't feel real, and that's why I come down here. I come down because I don't want another family to go through what I'm going through right now. And I don't want another 15-year-old to be having to pick out his sister's casket.
We cannot allow the plethora and epidemic of guns and violence in our society to become the new normal, and we have to resolve to take action.
How many more must die before our Congress takes action? It is difficult to endure these tragic loss of life to guns.
Congress must shift their focus over to gun control in 2014.
By creating new restrictions and laws regarding the use of guns, the safety of all citizens will be ensured.
In addition, fewer crimes will be committed and there will be less victims of gun violence.